There's no bad thing with being the runt of the litter. It just means you're different. Runt. We are talking about Runt. This movie is very unique in that it was us officially saying goodbye to Cameron Boyce. Cameron Boyce, by the way, was an actor who was most known for being in Jesse. He played Luke Ross, and he was in the Adam Sandler films Grown Ups. He was in both Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. But like me, many of us may know him mostly for playing Carlos DeVille in Descendants. And a lot of us know that his passing was just like many other actors passing. It was tragic. I was shocked. I was dumbfounded and just stunned when I found out about his passing. He was young. He was 20 years old. And to have an epileptic seizure stop him. Luckily, there's been so much help to support him. His parents have started the Cameron Boyce Foundation since then to help people who are struggling with the epilepsy. And so far they're being really successful at it. I was a Descendants person. Now, I still have a soft spot for Descendants. Looking back on the Descendants films, yeah, they weren't technically the best of films. I don't think you would call the Descendants films good. But I did grow up with them to the point where I do have sort of a soft spot for them. I'm not saying they're good movies, but I do think, because of how much I've grown up with them, so much nostalgia just floods out of me. And I liked him in Jesse. I honestly think Cameron Boyce is a really good actor. So, I found this movie out, like, a year ago. And I was surprised that I didn't even know about this movie sooner. Like, at all. And this movie is called... So this movie, Runt, has a lot of interesting filming history. I should probably talk about what the movie is about first. I should probably talk about that. So this movie is about this kid named Cal, who is played by Boyce. And I don't know, I don't know if they said in the movie what he is in high school. That is being freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. They probably did, and I just don't remember. But he's in high school. And he gets in a fight with the school bully. Vic, played by Aramis Knight. Aramis Knight? I don't know. Hopefully I pronounce it right. He gets in trouble with the school bully, Vic, who, after he draws a picture of of his girlfriend, and eventually it leads to full-on lash-out anger and unsupervised violence that none of the parents, none of the teachers are there to witness. And yeah, that's pretty much the plot of the movie. So this movie has sort of a rocky film history. This film was shot and filmed back in 2018. And it got shelved twice. Once during 2019 because of Cameron Boyce's passing, and the second in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, this movie, which was pretty much in production hell, didn't get released until 3 years after it shot. It got released in 2021. So, it was like the production history on this is messy too. And there's apparently there's some spout of toxic work environments on filming too. I didn't really go that much down the rabbit hole. I probably should at some point, just to talk about it in a video or whatnot. But yeah, so with Cameron Boyce's passing and COVID, this movie was really struggling to actually get released, and it luckily did. It got released at some sort of film festival. I want to see if I can find it. What film festival did Runt go to? Oh, it did not have... Oh, derp. Its world premiere was at the 2020 Mammoth Film Festival, and it won the Audience Award for Best Feature Film. Okay. It received an Audience Award and a standing ovation at the festival. So yeah. But yeah. So, it was and it did well at the film festival, as you can see. Or as you hear. And yeah. This is a movie that is so emotional. This is a movie where when I first saw this movie last year, there's a lot of stuff that really just surprises you out of nowhere. This movie does a lot of things that you wouldn't expect, even for a star from Descendants. I think if Cameron Boyce had lived longer, I think this movie would have been a really good... I think this movie really would have been a good introduction for a more mature era for Cameron Boyce. Because this movie is R-rated. You literally do hear Carlos DeVille swear up a storm. He drops not 100, but like, he drops a lot of F-bombs than you would think. And he does the material so serious, and he does it more mature that, and he does it so well that I think this would have been a very good introduction for him to get into more mature stuff. Arguably, I guess you could say Grown Ups was put to a mature level. Not really. Honestly, if you've seen Grown Ups, no. No. And like this movie, I think it helped that this movie came out a year after the COVID pandemic, because this movie shows that Cal, Cameron Boyce's character, is very much alone. Even when Cal is talking to his mom, he feels alone. He feels as though there's no one to turn to. Sort of like COVID pandemic, when we were on lockdown. There was a lot of feelings of loneliness and scared. Even when we see Cal's mom in this movie, and this film didn't have to do this, but it did. And that is whenever we saw Cal and Cal's mom. Cal's mom. We never see Cal's mom's face. Whenever we do see her, it's from the neck down. That is interesting how they do that. And we only see her once in the whole film. It proves even more of a point that Cal feels so much alone. He doesn't know what to do. He's just stuck there. Even when the moment when Cal's calling his mom to pick him up from his work when he gets fired. And his mom's not answering. To him, Cal feels like his mom just abandoned him, and to an extent, yeah, she did. But Cal's also feeling bad because after his dad died, he doesn't know who to talk to. He's never been close with his mom. The only person he really has is his dog, Runt. This movie is called Runt, and Cal's dog is named Runt. And it's more so about Cameron Boyce. I feel like the title could be taken several different ways. One, Runt does die in the movie. Spoiler alert. But so maybe it has some sort of correlation with that. But it also could be just how Cal is. Alone. Lonely. The runt of the litter. It's not until he meets Cecily, who's played by... hold on. I don't want to get wrong. Who plays Cecily in Runt? Nicole Elizabeth Berger plays her, who is practically the love interest in this movie. Once he meets her, then he sort of becomes whole again. Sort of. Not really, but if you watch the movie, you know. But yeah. I'm going to be completely truthful. I have been suffering with anxiety for a lot, even since COVID. And I have had a lot of mental health problems since COVID. Even in my personal life, I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of shit going on in the background in my personal life. And it sort of kind of affects my day sometimes. Doing mini movies and doing reviews and movie reviews on YouTube helps me cope and helps me pretty much feel happy. Doing the things I love helps me in general. They're all filming mini movies, filming skits, filming movie reviews, doing stuff for YouTube, doing stuff that I love helps me get through the day and helps me just sort of become happy amongst all the shit I have to go through in my day-to-day life. And this movie hurt. But it hurt in a weirdly good way. There has been a question that I remember people said to me. And that's, if you had to pick one movie of Cameron Boyce's legacy that you love and that you appreciate, and his ultimate number one film, Cameron Boyce's film that made him who he is, essentially, made him stand out, made him, what is the most single and most important Cameron Boyce movie of his whole filmography? And I always say Runt. And most of it has to do with how it affected me. But also because Cameron Boyce stood for anti-bullying and anti-violence. And he mainly did this sort of like a passion project. And he did this because he really wanted to. This was a movie he was so proud to make. And he wanted to put his whole heart and soul into this character and into this film. This is the movie I would call Cameron Boyce's legacy movie. His number one film. And there's nothing anyone else can say about it. I don't really know if I have much to talk about for this film. there's a lot. There's obviously there's a lot to talk about. I want to do a more in-depth video on this movie one day. I just don't know when I will be able to have the time. This is just a review. This is just a short summary and quick snippets of some of the stuff I like about this. I don't know how much views this one's gonna get, but yeah, I like this one. I love this fucking movie. I know there's a lot of people who are iffy on it and don't like it, and that I understand. They just weren't ready to see a more serious Cameron Boyce movie, because this was, let's face it, more serious than Descendants, than Grown Ups, than Gamer's Guide to pretty much everything. More serious than Jesse. And a lot of people were mostly looking for a goofy Cameron Boyce movie, and that's not what they got. And I understand why they wouldn't like this film. Me personally, I love how serious this film is. They talk about so much, like, I don't know if trigger warning is the right subject, but they're talking about so much stuff such as, like, I guess depression is sort of in here, anxiety. There's some stuff about sexual assault, and there's drug abuse, some of it, some alcohol abuse, and they talk about so much serious stuff, and they put it so bluntly. It's emotional. It's serious. It hurts. My God, it hurts. But that's why it's good. Such a good movie. I want to do a whole in-depth video on this eventually, when I get enough time. But that's pretty much all I have to say. This was the final movie of Cameron Boyce that got released. He went out a fantastic way. This was, I think, the perfect movie for him to end off. It sucks that Cameron's no longer with us, but at least we have this film to remember by. Have you seen Runt? Do you like it? Or are you met on it? Or did you just not like it? Put it down in the comments below. We'll see you guys next time.